ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930 present The Drive.
It is Monday, May 19th. Your drive begins now on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. I'm your host, Paul Swann. Glad to be back with you for the start of this week. We'll get things started with our text line in just a few minutes. We'll open that up now. 304-396-TALK. 304-396-8255. Brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shop. Well, the Thundering Herd did it. We said that the Herd would need to win one to get into the tournament. Marshall did that. And then we were hoping that Marshall would win the series. Marshall did that. And then we were hoping that Marshall would sweep. Marshall did that. So the Thundering Herd's now the 4 seed. And baseball squad is taking on number 5 seed Louisiana in the Sun Belt Conference baseball tournament. That's going to get underway Wednesday night, 8:30 in Montgomery, Alabama. We've got those games. The voice of the Herd, Steve Cotton's already on the way, and we'll have all those games right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Now, this is a double elimination tournament. I don't know how you feel about double elimination. Some like it, some don't. The first day of the tournament is single elimination. You win and you continue on. You lose and you're done. But as far as day number 2, you get into day number 2, it is double elimination. And so what does that mean for the Thundering Herd? Marshall has a little room for error here. Now, the 7 seed and the 10 seed, we were hoping that Marshall would avoid that slot, and that's going to be underway tomorrow. And then it would have been the 8 and 9 seed playing 7:30 tomorrow. But so Texas State and App State get things underway for those who are going to want to keep an eye on the tournament. And then Arkansas State and Georgia Southern in that single elimination bracket. And then we get really going on Wednesday. So Marshall's got the last game of the night. So Troy and Old Dominion kick things off at 10 a.m. And then it'll be Southern Miss waiting for one of the winners from yesterday or at this point tomorrow. And then it'll be number 1 seed Coastal Carolina versus one of the other seeds. Then Marshall's got that late game. And this is where it gets interesting as far as this bracket is concerned because of the fact that if you win, you go here. If you lose, you go there. And we've been trying to figure this out. I think we've got it pretty much easy to follow along, maybe. All right, here's what we got. So Marshall, first game is Wednesday. If Marshall, and I'm double checking my numbers, would win that game, you ready for this? As my notes pull up finally. I've been stalling, folks. That's what I've been doing, trying to get my notes here. All right, here we go. If Marshall wins, it will play Wednesday. Okay, so Wednesday, 5:21. Marshall plays, 8:30 p.m. If Marshall would win, it will play Thursday at 8:30 p.m. If Marshall would lose, it will play Thursday at 1:30 p.m. Now, Friday, if Marshall... You ready for this scenario? If Marshall would lose Wednesday, win Thursday, it's going to be an 8:30 p.m. game on Friday. If Marshall would win Wednesday and lose Thursday, it's going to be an 8:30 p.m. game on Friday. If Marshall would win Wednesday and Thursday, it's got to bye all the way to Saturday. So Marshall wouldn't have to play on Friday. Saturday, 1:30 p.m. first pitch, no matter what. If Marshall would lose Saturday and have not lost yet, they may have to play a second game that day. It would either be at 5 p.m. or 8:30 p.m., depending on what the schedule looks like. And then on Sunday, if Marshall gets to Sunday, it's a 2 p.m. first pitch. You can't figure that out easily. You look at the bracket and you're having to draw arrows. Okay, if go here for this, go here for that. I don't know if I like double elimination. I mean, the good news is if Marshall loses one, then it has a shot at coming back and running the table. If Marshall would run the table, it's going to be an easier path to Sunday. So here we go. Can Marshall get this done? As a 4 seed, didn't think Marshall would be the 4 seed. Did you? I don't think a lot of people thought the Thundering Herd would be the 4 seed going into this tournament. And so now that Marshall is set as a 4 seed, the next thing that has happened is the Player of the Year honors have come out and the postseason awards as well. And you look down the list, Marshall did not win any of the specialty awards. So no player of the year, no pitcher of the year, no newcomer of the year, freshman of the year, coach of the year, nope. Instead, Marshall has one lone representative, and that's second team pitcher Griffin Miller. Only representative from Marshall on this list. Southern Miss had 7 players. Coastal Carolina had 4. App State 3. Troy had 3. Georgia Southern 2. Georgia State 2 and Louisiana 2. Also, Texas State had 2. All of those schools had multiple All-Sun Belt honorees. 11 of 14 Sun Belt programs were represented on the 2 All-Sun Belt teams. So not every school got someone on the list. Marshall had one lone representative. Now, I don't know how that factors into the mindset of players these days. You look at that and go, oh, okay, we got robbed, or that doesn't matter to us. We don't care. That's nice. It's great. We're happy for Griffin, but Griffin probably doesn't care. Okay, second team. Okay, that's good. That's cool. Doesn't do anything for me. Winning the tournament does something for me. I wonder if that's going to be the attitude here. What the take is. You see that. I mean, you finished 4th. That's hard to do. This is supposedly a top-tier baseball conference. Seriously, this is a top-tier baseball conference. And Marshall finished 4th in the league and only could net one player on the all first team or second team awards? Now, don't get me wrong, there's some good baseball being played here. So absolutely, it's going to be tough to get anyone on this list. But you look at the representation and it leans heavy towards some of the more proven programs. Of course, Coastal Carolina, Southern Miss, and Troy. Those are the top 3 RPI teams in this league. Southern Miss led everyone in this. But those are the top 3 as far as the RPI is concerned. 3 top 45 RPI teams in this league. And Marshall became the 4th team after winning the last 2 series in the standings, worked its way up. There is a thought Marshall might not even make the tournament. Marshall had some work to do, and then all of a sudden Marshall gets some help and wins and takes care of its business and locks itself in the 4 seed. And Marshall can only manage one player being recognized. Doesn't matter. Marshall wins this thing. Doesn't matter. Absolutely is not consequential whatsoever. All Marshall has to do is go in and win this tournament, and then Marshall's got its spot in the postseason. And then I know technically conference tournaments are postseason, but I'm talking NCAA postseason here. That's what we're shooting for. And all of a sudden you can look at what Greg Beals has done and go, all right, this is a good hire. He's starting to build this program. He's starting to get this program to a point where it's competitive. And we're in year 2 of the ballpark. Year 2, and you're 4th. Tell me you can't build off of that. And I think we're close to the argument point now where you can say, well, Marshall's got the facilities that can compete in the Sun Belt, or at least in some of the big sports. Baseball, Marshall has a facility now. It can compete and hopefully recruit and be on par with some of those teams. Soccer, Marshall just is head and shoulders above everyone right now. And this is a really tough league. And Marshall's still head and shoulders above pretty much everyone. Probably WVU is close to being on par, but that's what makes it fun. And then, of course, football, that's going to be completely a random crapshoot every time, just because everyone's got this, everyone's got that. And if you don't, you'll be getting it soon. And it's going to come down to, football's going to come down to NIL, things like that. But we'll see what the direction of football looks like here under Coach Gibson, and also eventually with a new athletic director. And we haven't heard much on that front. I know the press releases went out a few days ago naming the committee members, and basically the committee members are going to be the ones forwarding the names on. The search will continue. The search firm will basically lay out the names, and then the committee will probably go, okay, we like these, maybe not so much this one. And there you go. And I'm hoping that name comes out sooner than later, or at least we see a little bit more movement on that front, because with football season not that far away, I know we're talking May, but I would like to have a new athletic director in place before, if possible, the start of football season. I don't want to see a transition during football season. I want to see a transition prior to the start of football season. And I'm not sure that I'm alone in that regard. So we'll talk more about that And we'll get that text line open now. The number is 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. I'm going to make it fun for you today. I've got some tickets that have been in my desk drawer. I got to give those away. So I have Pittsburgh Pirates tickets for Friday's game against the Milwaukee Brewers. Pirates are starting to win some games, starting to look a lot better. And so I've got a 4-pack of tickets today. I'm going to give those to you. All you have to do is be a part of our text line today. And again, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. So for tickets today, the giveaway on our text line to go see the Pirates on Friday take on the Milwaukee Brewers. We'll give those away at the end of the show. We'll get your text in here in a moment, and we'll continue on with this edition of The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
No matter where you are in life, Mount West Community and Technical College isn't just about an education. It's a step toward your future. We provide the hands-on support you need with classes that fit your life. At Mount West, we know you by name because here, you're more than just a number. Mount West Community and Technical College, because you matter here. Visit mctc.edu to apply today.
Hi, I'm Nori, and over the years, my mother and I have opened our homes to those who need it most, and it's been so rewarding. I bet you didn't know that some adults who have unfortunately been mistreated need a place to call home in West Virginia. It happens more than you know. They may have some physical or mental limitations, and they need your help. Everyone deserves a place to call their own. I can tell you from my experience, it's worth it.
If you have an open heart and want to open your home, Adult Family Care may be the right fit for you. Call the Department of Human Services and ask to speak to an Adult Family Care Home Finder at 304-269-6820. Sponsored by the West Virginia Department of Human Services, the West Virginia Broadcasters Association, and this station. This project is supported by the Administration for Community Living, ACL, of the United States, U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, HHS, as part of a financial assistance award totaling $1,227,345, with 100% funded by ACL HHS. The contents are those of the authors and do not necessarily represent the official views of nor an endorsement by ACL HHS or the U.S. government.
Get the last roof you'll ever need with steel roofing from Menards. Steel roofing is durable, offering your home the best protection from wind, hail, and fire. Choose from 29 stylish colors that not only enhance the appearance of your home, but will reduce cooling costs and keep your home more comfortable all summer long. Plus, check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for more great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
Your bow tie guy, Mike Engel here, inviting you to celebrate the red, white, and new here at Cardinal Chevrolet. Memorial Day deals on new Silverados now to $20,000 off. New Equinox, just $199 a month. There's even 0.9% financing for 60 months and above market trade values. New ownership, better process, and better deals. Better deals. Visit our gorgeous facility right off I-64 in Hurricane or at CardinalChevy.com. Together, let's drive. See dealer for details.
This summer, the fun heats up at Dave & Buster's. Introducing the all-new Summer Season Pass. Your ticket to unlimited gameplay all summer long. Now through Labor Day, choose the Silver Pass for unlimited weekday gameplay and 10% off food and drinks. Just $69.99. You want more? Upgrade to Gold or Platinum for weekend gameplay, up to 30% off food and drinks, and even weekly food vouchers. Don't miss out. Grab your pass today and level up your summer. Blackout dates may apply. Visit DaveandBusters.com for full details. The summer heats up at Dave & Buster's Huntington Mall.
Giovanni's has great Italian dishes. Spaghetti with meat sauce, lasagna, ravioli, manicotti, and baked lasagna. Giovanni's has the best sandwiches around, from the stromboli, Italian sub, calzones, and their signature Big Red. All dinners will be served with hot garlic bread or Italian rolls. Giovanni's Pizza, fresh, hot, and tasty. Have it delivered right to your door. Giovanni's, the Italian place to be.
This is The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Miss an episode? Catch it anytime on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
We continue on with today's edition of The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Our text line, wide open now. 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Of course, there's also the very secret text line. You know the number if you know that secret text line. It's my cell phone number. It gets used sometimes. I have to check my phone often because sometimes I'll just get someone who will text me directly. I'm like, I'm on the air. Come on, use the real text line. Texter wrote in, let's see, part of that's personal, and it amounts to the personal part is basically someone has now moved into the area so they can listen to the program. That's not the real reason, but they're in the area now. They don't have to listen to the podcast or stream. So yes, and the rest of it is surprised that Micah New didn't make it with the 6 home runs in 6 game streak. Appreciate the text, and that surprises me as well. I don't know what the criteria is from some of these voters. Or is it, okay, these are the top teams, so obviously they're the top team, so they're going to get the most of our attention. The majority of the votes are going to go to the higher teams. But you look at Marshall sitting right there at 4th in the standings, and Micah New has been a hero for the Herd in so many games. I was listening to the game on Saturday, and even though Marshall was trailing, I'm sitting there going, that's not going to hold. Marshall's going to come right back, and this is going to go into extra innings possibly, or Marshall's going to win it in the 9th. I'm not worried here. And what did Marshall do? Marshall made it exciting toward the end and won the game, got the sweep, solidified the 4th spot. And yeah, I think Micah New got robbed. Probably that's the biggest theft going. Now, will that put a chip on some shoulders? I don't know. Or is this team right now riding some momentum, believing, hey, look, we've got a shot here. We're just as hot as any other team in this league right now. And yeah, you got to be honest with yourself. A few days ago, thought, okay, Marshall might get in here, might feel good about this. But Marshall has a 6-game winning streak. That's the 3rd longest win streak in conference right now. The only 2 teams that have longer winning streaks, Coastal Carolina, and it's the number 1 seed, has a 14-game winning streak, and then Southern Miss, number 2 seed, has a 15-game winning streak, and then Troy's got a 4-game losing streak, number 3 seed. So the difference there being, I'll give Troy a pass, only because Troy had to face off against Southern Miss. Southern Miss has been really hot, so I'll give them a pass there. But Marshall right there, the 4 seed, and Louisiana's the 5 seed. Marshall with that 6-game win streak, 3rd hottest team in the league right now. And the other day, we're looking at these standings and like, okay, yeah, Marshall needs to do a few more things. Get 1, you're in. And Marshall did that. And so here we are with the tournament. And a reminder, we're going to have that for you coming up starting on Wednesday. Steve Cotton, the voice of the Herd, will have all the games for you right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Text line 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Texter just wrote in and said, Paul, I agree. Micah New got robbed. Absolutely. Now, these things are so subjective. You look at these things and you go, okay, who's voting on these? Who's voting on these? And the answer is the head coaches. So the head coaches are voting on this. And this is the list, the consensus that the head coaches, the league, believe. So for the most part, the coaches thought, okay, Southern Miss is probably one of the better teams. Coastal Carolina, one of the better teams. But App State, Troy, Southern Miss, Georgia. I mean, it's top-heavy loaded, to be fair. Southern Miss and Coastal Carolina, with Southern Miss having 7. So it's top-heavy. And it could have gone any way. Louisiana had 2, 5th seed. Marshall has 1, the 4 seed. Troy, 3, and it's the 3rd seed. Georgia Southern's 2, has 2 players on the list. So it was Southern Miss and Coastal Carolina heavy to a degree. And that's what the coaches thought. The coaches thought that pretty much Coastal and Southern Miss were probably the better teams player-wise. And I contend that, well, that could be true, but Marshall has proven to be a thorn in a lot of teams' side as of late. Let's just look at the schedule. The way that Herd finished. Marshall dropped 2 at Old Dominion, but if you look at where Marshall started to pick up some momentum here, lost the series against Coastal Carolina. And actually, you go back a little bit. Lost the series, won 1 out of 3 against App State. The second game that Marshall could have won was decided in 10 innings. So really, you got beat, 6-0 and then won 5-1, and then you lost in 10 innings 8-5. Then Marshall lost a close one that could have went either way in Huntington against WVU. Followed that up by getting really dominated by Coastal Carolina. And then came back, got a dominant win against Morehead State, finished the home and home with Morehead State the following day with that 32-15 game, and then started to put it together. Won the series against South Alabama, swept that series, beat West Virginia, and then beat Old Dominion the first game of the series, lost a close second one, and then the third one lost 8-2, and then Marshall went on a 6-game win streak. So Marshall in the second half of the season starting to put it on and started to win and win key moments. Marshall won the series against Southern Miss. Let's not forget that. Lost the middle game, but won the first and the third game in that series. So Marshall won a game against Troy, lost the series there. Probably should have won the series against James Madison, Arkansas State. So early Marshall baseball, nowhere near what it is later. And I think we got to go back, and it started really getting cooking close to after that Coastal Carolina series. And then Marshall started to find some offense, got a series win, and got the WVU game, and then was competitive against Old Dominion, and then just started to put it together. So right now, I'm looking at this Marshall team. If I'm Louisiana, do I want this team? Do I like my draw against Marshall in that first round where I have to play? I mean, Louisiana, before the win against Arkansas State, had lost 5 in a row. 3 of those losses were against Southern Miss, and then the next 2 against Arkansas State before it picked up the last win of the regular season. But if I'm Louisiana right now, I don't know if I'm looking at Marshall going, hey, I don't want to start here. Thankfully, it's double elimination at this point. 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. It's our text line. Be a part of today's show here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Texter says, Marshall's going to win the entire tournament. Go Herd. Absolutely. Positive attitude. Appreciate the text. More coming up, including your opportunity to win my 4-pack of tickets to go see the Pirates take on the Brewers coming up this Friday. We'll make one of you a winner on the text line. That's coming up at the end of the show. But more of your texts coming up on this edition of The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Calling all steak lovers. It's time to fire up the flavor at the Marshall Hall of Fame Cafe. Introducing the Grill Master Weekend Special. Choose a juicy New York strip or a tender ribeye, cooked just the way you like it, and served with 2 signature sides, all for just $29.99. Big taste, big value, big flavor. But only on the weekends at the Marshall Hall of Fame Cafe. Savor the grill and celebrate the weekend like a true champion with the Marshall Hall of Fame Cafe on the corner of Fun and 3rd Avenue in downtown Huntington.
The Marshall Sports Medicine Institute, the exclusive provider of sports medicine services to Marshall University Athletics, is pleased to offer walk-in clinics 6 days a week. Full-service appointments are available on a walk-in basis weekdays from 9 until 3, and a screening clinic is conducted Saturday mornings 8 to 10. No appointment necessary. For more information, call 304-691-1880. The Marshall Sports Medicine Institute, taking care of the herd, taking care of you.
I'm Nori, and when I was young, my mom opened our home to someone who needed a secure and safe place. She taught him what it was like to have someone care about you, having dinner at home or going out to eat together.
In West Virginia, families open their homes every year to adult family care.
Some folks need a little extra help, but everybody deserves a family.
Call the Department of Human Services and ask to speak to an adult family care home finder at 304-269-6820. Sponsored by the West Virginia Department of Human Services, the West Virginia Broadcasters Association, and this station. This project is supported by the Administration for Community Living, ACL, of the United States, U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, HHS, as part of a financial assistance award totaling $1,227,345, with 100% funded by ACL HHS. The contents are those of the authors and do not necessarily represent the official views of, nor an endorsement by ACL HHS or the U.S. government.
Hey, get in. What? Who are you? I'm future you. Constipation with belly pain still coming back? Yeah. Mia, our doctor figured it out. She said it's irritable bowel syndrome with constipation, or IBS-C, and Linzess could help you get ahead of it.
Linzess linaclotide is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. It's not a laxative. It's a once-daily pill that helps you get ahead of your symptoms. It's proven to help you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually. Do not give Linzess to children less than 2. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling. Talk to your doctor and say yes to Linzess. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS.
Okay, forest animals, today is a new day. Kids are coming to the forest, and it's up to us to make their visit a good one. Sparrow.
Yes?
Have you practiced the most popular bird songs for the year?
Of course.
Catchy. I like it. Okay, River.
Dude.
How's the temperature?
It's a refreshing 52 degrees, man. Perfect for a little riverside shoeless relaxation.
Ah, good. Owl, you here? Course. Who's asking? I am. Look, you know the drill. Sleep during the day, scare the kids at night. Perfect. I love my job. Oak Tree?
What's up?
Still in the same place I left you last year. That's what I like. Consistency.
Well, it's not like I'm going anywhere for the next couple 100 years.
I know. I love it. Turtle. Turtle.
He's not here yet, man.
He's late every morning. You'd think you would have learned by now to leave the night before our meetings. Okay. Squirrel. Has anybody seen Mr. Squirrel?
The forest has been preparing just for you. Visit a forest near you today. To learn more about cool things to do in the forest, visit discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
How can I help my daughter with her reading?
Searching for help with dachshund reading.
No.
Let me try. Sarah's bright, but when she's reading, she has trouble sounding out words.
Playing world music.
What?
I give up.
Wait, I was trying to show you how Sarah feels every day. Redirecting to understood.org.
Join parents and experts at understood.org, a free online resource about learning and attention issues to help your child thrive.
Brought to you by understood.org and the Ad Council.
Hi, this is Dave Wilson, host of Metro News Talk Line, and you're listening to The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Thanks, Dave. Don't forget, tomorrow morning, 10:06, Talk Line. Dave and TJ will have you covered on all the happenings in the state of West Virginia, and it's right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Our text line is open 304-396-TALK, brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shop. Thundering Herd getting set for its conference debut in the postseason tournament. Take it on Louisiana. We got that game for you coming up. It's going to be an 8:30 first pitch. We hope, at least anyway, those games could go long ahead of Marshall's game, and where Marshall's the last game of the day in the bracket, that's going to float a little bit. We got you covered no matter what time it goes on the air right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. So yesterday was fun. If you like hockey, you like NBA basketball, we had well, let's put it this way. Both games were ugly. Oklahoma City beat Denver 125-93. So the Thunder win that series 4-3. And it was ugly. And then if you are a fan of the Florida Panthers, congratulations. The Panthers eliminate Toronto 6-1. Panthers won the series 4-3. Toronto now has lost 7 straight Game 7s. That is a nasty, nasty number to look at. 7 straight Game 7s. The fans were booing yesterday. They had the handshake line, and one of the coolest things that happens in sports is the handshake line. You have a sport where you are beating up the other team, physically, hard-hitting, and then you have the handshake line where, you know what? It's all over. You left it out there on the ice. You wish your opponent good luck. Win or lose, you wish your opponent good luck. And then get ready for the next series. If you're the home team and you win on home ice, yeah, your fans cheer you on. And if you're the losing team, your fans applaud you usually for a season well done. Thank you. We appreciate it. Not the way we wanted this. No, I was watching the Toronto fans boo, absolutely boo their team after the players saluted the fans. This wasn't where the players were just walking off and they were being booed. Well, they were that too, but they're doing the salute to the fans. Hey, thank you fans that stayed. We're sorry. We appreciate you. No, we're booing you here. Absolutely brutal. And then a lot of you were excited that the Reds swept the Reds swept Cleveland. My apologies. Swept the Guardians over the weekend with a 3-1 win on Sunday. The Phillies beat the Pirates 1-0. So far, I like this rivalry series. You know, all the rivals playing, and it really seemed to boost attendance. So Reds, Pirates, also rivals. First of a 3-game series coming up tonight. 6:40. We've got that for you right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Cleveland's still on the road, taking on Minnesota, opening that series tonight at 7:40 p.m. So busy night in baseball. Don't forget, we'll have all the Marshall and Pirates action right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. And then Kentucky softball eliminated from the NCAA softball tournament Sunday by Clemson. It was a 5-1 score. So I think you're caught up now on everything. I'm excited. We got the NBA Eastern and Western Conference Finals coming up. Same for the NHL. I don't know which series I'm more excited for. So if you know me, I'm going to obviously watch hockey. That's going to be my first. But it's going to be a little hard for me because I really am interested in some of those series. You've got Minnesota and Oklahoma. So, I'm not necessarily – I used to be a Western Conference guy. Lakers fan, yeah, not that big of a LeBron fan. I mean, I don't dislike LeBron. It's just LeBron's not the ticket seller for me. I'm not following LeBron James around. But the Lakers, not in, so I'm not interested in the Western Conference. Now, the Eastern Conference, absolutely, because the Pacers and the Knicks, and let me tell you, if Cincinnati is my first love when it comes to pro teams, New York is my second city. LA's probably third. Now, how can I have more than one? Well, Cincinnati has baseball. Cincinnati has football. So I'm a baseball and football fan. And I follow Cincinnati sports. I follow the soccer team a little bit, not much. I follow the Cyclones a little bit, the minor league hockey team, not tremendously well, but I follow them. I keep an eye on probably more on the soccer team. And so all my pro teams are either in Cincinnati or in New York. Not a Mets fan, not a Yankees fan, but I'm a Rangers fan, and I've been a Knicks fan for a long time as well. I just haven't had much to cheer for as a Knicks fan. There was that run. Back in the day, I was a big Patrick Ewing fan, but the Knicks all of a sudden here on the verge, could this be New York's year? Got to get past the Pacers first, but could this be New York's year to get to an NBA championship final? So I'm definitely on board with that series. And that starts on Wednesday. Unfortunately, it's going to be around the same time Marshall baseball, so I'm going to have to do a lot of creative. All right, I'm going to have Mr. Cotton on the radio here. Okay, I'm going to have the TV on this game. And then, all right, what am I going to relegate the least interesting game to? All right, I'm going to have to put that on the tablet maybe. Because as far as I'm concerned, even though I'm not exactly on board with all of the matchups here and the Stanley Cup, I'm going to watch. I'm going to watch every single game because playoff hockey is the best hockey. Playoff hockey is the best playoff, period. And that might upset a few of you, but we've got Florida at Carolina. That's the Eastern Conference final. That's set up to be a dogfight right there. And that'll start on Tuesday. And then Edmonton and Dallas. And if I'm the NBA, I'm feeling good right now because obviously in North America, more people are probably going to watch the NBA. I don't think we're kidding ourselves here. But you look at the matchups, and you got Indiana and New York, and you're thinking, okay, hey, New York's carrying this largest market here. And then you have on the other side, you have what could be, honestly, a great Western Conference final. And there are a lot of fans of Oklahoma City. Probably, if you're the NBA, you're rooting for Oklahoma City and New York. I might have that wrong, but I'm saying, do more people watch for the Thunder or the Timberwolves? And I tend to think that Oklahoma City and the Minnesota Timberwolves series is probably the weakest of the two series. Indiana and New York, I know OKC is the number one seed in the Western Conference, and you got a 4 and a 3 if that stuff matters to you. But I think that on the NBA side, New York and Indiana is probably the stronger series. And then on the NHL side, I would say Dallas is probably your largest market. Carolina is more a regional team, I would think. Around here, probably more Carolina fans. I don't know how many Florida fans are out there. How many Dallas fans are out there? Probably not that many in the grand scheme of things. Edmonton, if you're a Canadian hockey fan, you like Edmonton. So I think the NBA has got this here, but I'm going to have a hard time picking and choosing. And then, of course, Marshall Baseball is going to – I'm going to have – well, Marshall's probably going to be on the big screen maybe. I might have the radio side with Mr. Cotton and see if I can sync that up with the video stream. And then I'm just going to have to go back and forth. But we've got some interesting matchups here as we get closer to the start of the NBA final. And, of course, the Stanley Cup. For me, Stanley Cup, hardest trophy to win, best playoff, doesn't matter the teams. But the Knicks, finally, after all this time, the Knicks might be on the verge of playing for a championship. I'm here for it. Text line 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Final segment coming up on today's edition of The Drive, ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Your next painting project when you shop at Menards. Ultra Exterior Paint is a paint and primer in one that resists cracking and peeling and has great durability, making it perfect for many outdoor projects. Save big money on Ultra Exterior Paint and head into Menards to get your paint project started today. Plus, check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for more great deals happening this week.
Save big money at Menards.
Mike Engel here, West Virginia's premier Ford bow tie guy, combining Memorial Day deals with employee pricing to save you more. We're talking up to $5,000 off on Bronco Sports and Broncos, or up to $4,500 off on the Ford Maverick or Ranger. We pay the highest trade values regardless of mileage or condition. New ownership, improved experience, and better deals. Better deals. Better deals. Visit us at University Ford in Huntington or online at universityfordwv.com. See dealer for details.
Buddy's All-American Barbecue is now in Milton. Enjoy all your favorite Buddy's classics like pulled pork, brisket, ribs, and more on East Main Street in Milton. Buddy's All-American Barbecue, the home of great barbecue, ice-cold beer, and killer wings in Huntington and now in Milton.
Spring is here. Clear that pollen and debris with Thoroughbred Express Wash. New members, your first month of unlimited washes is just $10. Any package, anytime. Want the best? Try the Secretariat Wash. Now with Graphene X, advanced technology that protects your car like high-tech armor. Fewer washes, better shine, and long-term paint protection. Plus, enjoy complimentary amenities every time you visit. Join the winner's circle with Thoroughbred Express. Get started at thoroughbredexpress.com.
It's the Grand Slam sales event at Ironton Automotive, and you're up to bat. Drive one out of here with unbeatable deals on winning lineups of cars, trucks, and SUVs. Slide into a new ride today with easy financing, top dollar trade-ins, and home run savings that'll have you rounding the bases in style. Don't wait, these offers won't last forever. Visit 2125 South 3rd Street in Ironton, Ohio, or online anytime at irontonautomotive.com and score big before this event heads for the fences.
When the game goes into overtime. But the game goes into overtime. The choice to enjoy is easy. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Pick up Bud Light at your local convenience store today. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
The Pirates take on the Milwaukee Brewers Saturday, May 24th at PNC Park for a 4:05 first pitch. Get down to Federal Street early for a pregame Wiggle Whiskey block party with live music, drink specials, and more. Plus, the first 20,000 fans take home a stylish short-sleeve hoodie presented by RE/MAX Select Realty, featuring the Pirates City Connect look. It's the Bucks and the Brewers, Saturday, May 24th at 4:05 p.m. Get your tickets at pirates.com/promotions.
Take a look under your bed. Find stuff under there? What about jobs? No? Now try your basement. There's a pair of overalls that overall you're not so into anymore. A perfectly good laptop that hasn't sat in your lap in months. And even more stuff, but still no jobs? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed, and they're the stuff inside your stuff. Even inside that winter coat that moved with you to Phoenix. Our job is to unlock those jobs, and it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover guitar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs. Find your nearest donation center at goodwill.org. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
Come alive with the forest. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
You're listening to The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
It's our final segment for today's edition of The Drive. Plenty of time for your text, 304-396-TALK. Our text line brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shop. Hey, good news if you're a Cleveland Browns fan. I know that's kind of a hard sentence to say. Good news, Cleveland Browns fan. But Shedeur Sanders signing his rookie contract with the Cleveland Browns. It is not that bad of a contract, but he is now under contract with the Browns, part of that four-way quarterback battle. You got Kenny Pickett. You have Joe Flacco. And then Cleveland also selected Oregon's Dylan Gabriel late in the third round. And my thoughts are this might be good for Shedeur from a standpoint. There's not a lot of pressure to start him. I don't think that he would be under pressure to start. And you got a guy like Joe Flacco. Now, I think if you're looking at this realistically, Flacco beats Kenny Pickett. Flacco's got some game left in him. I would think he has anyway. But if you're trying to pick a quarterback, I would go Flacco, probably Pickett, and then Shedeur Sanders would probably be my third. I'd give him time to develop and absolutely grow into that position. And what have you really wasted on that? If you pick him first or second, picking first day, there's a lot of pressure. If you pick him up third day, it could be seriously a value steal for you if it works out. And you're in one of the toughest divisions when it comes to quarterbacks. Baltimore, Pittsburgh, and Cincinnati. This is going to be a tough division for anyone. And if you look at where Cleveland is right now, yeah, Cleveland was a playoff team, but is that going to hold? I mean, this is the black and blue division. So I will still say good news. That was an interesting pick for Cleveland. You get a quarterback that a lot of people projected, Mel Kiper, predicted that would be round one, first day, and drops all the way to the third day, and you pick him up. I think you've got something there you can work with if you're trying to build a little consistency here. If you have patience, and you got Flacco, let's stay with Flacco. Of course, quarterback situation a little bit more stable with Cincinnati. Everything else might not be, but at least at quarterback, it's stable with Joe Burrow, probably the only adult in the room right now. I worry about the Bengals every single day. I mean, it's not eating me alive, but I sit there every time I see Bengals news and go, really? It's not that hard. Sign the players you need to sign. It's simple. That's it. Just sign what you need to sign. Protect Joe Burrow. Seriously, protect him. Protect Joe Burrow. And then you look at the schedule that was released a few days ago, and it actually sets up. I mean, you're going to take on Cleveland first game and last game. You've got a schedule where you actually have a break probably at the best. Week 9, you have a break after week 9. Get you ready for the Steelers. You go into the game at Pittsburgh with a little rest and a little game planning, and you're going to face Baltimore twice in the second half, and you're going to finish with Cleveland, and you will already have seen the Pittsburgh Steelers on Thursday Night Football in Week 7. So you've got the Steelers Week 7 and Week 11. You've got Cleveland Week 1 and Week 18. Baltimore is going to be on the backside of this. And honestly, I feel good. I mean, now, there's some games here that I don't know if I think the Bengals can win 10 in this. Am I going out on a limb here? I think 10 is okay. And this has got to be that year where there has to be that urgency. If the Bengals don't get in the playoffs after this year, there is going to be some changes. With this offense, you have T. Higgins under contract. You have Jamar Chase under contract. You have Joe Burrow under contract. You have to take advantage of this schedule. It's considered the 14th hardest in the league. But I feel that if the Bengals don't make the playoffs this year, there's going to be some changes. Not necessarily with players. There might be some coaching changes in this schedule because of the schedule. If you can't get in the playoffs with the way this sets up, it's not terrible. Yes, you open up the season once again on the road, but you close out with the Browns Week 18. That's going to be a meaningful game. I don't care if the records are opposite side of everything. For these two teams, that's a meaningful game. You finish the last two games at home. And the second half of the schedule, on the road at Pittsburgh, home, road with Baltimore, road with Buffalo. Now, that December 7th game is going to be a real fun one. And we'll know by then, we'll know where the Bengals are at on December 7th after that game. I guarantee you. And then you've got at least 4 primetime appearances. Monday night football once, 2 Thursday night footballs, and then you have a Sunday night football game, and that could be flexed out, who knows. But I like the way this Bengals schedule plays out. That's going to do it for this edition. Thanks for tuning in. I'll be back with you tomorrow. We'll go over it all again right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Until then, don't forget you can catch the show anytime on your schedule. That is Apple Podcasts. That is Spotify. That is on our website at WRVC.com. You can subscribe, follow, like, whatever the button says, wherever you get your podcast. Hit it, and then the show will be delivered right to you. Thanks for tuning in once again, everyone. I'll be back with you tomorrow here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Broadcasting from the Dave & Buster's studios. Eat, drink, play, and watch at Dave & Buster's in the Huntington Mall. ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. WRBC, W231BS Huntington.